Now that you're understanding more and more about climate change and what we can do about it with adaptation and mitigation, it's natural that you may be feeling like you have to do something, which is a good thing. The main thing you want to do at your young age is to learn all about climate science, climate change, its causes and its impacts, and what are the solutions for adaptation and mitigation. Do not get anxious about your future. The world is not coming to an end. You can still manage to find the solutions and contribute to the solutions. Green technology, renewable energies, and so on, and wearable technologies, and everything you can think of, reducing emissions from agriculture, from buildings, from vehicles, and how to fly around without emitting so much, how not to, worry about what to eat, and so on and so forth. So let's look at a bit about renewable energies. All over the world, people are already using renewable energy. Some sources generate power with zero or very light emissions, and they will never be used up. Sun is going to be around for a few billion years. We don't have to worry. Of course, sun is growing in size. In 100 million years there could be problems, but that's a long way away. We don't know if big asteroid will come by, so nothing to worry about. I'm not trying to scare you, right? Plus, renewable energy has become cheaper over time. It's a growing industry. In 2016, more Americans were employed in solar energy work than in coal, gas, and oil jobs combined. Obviously, we cannot just worry about the US, we have to worry about the world as well, and the rest of the world also has to start moving towards renewables, especially the countries which are making all their income from coal, gas, and oil, or the countries like China and India which are trying to grow their economy and make the lives for their people better. Need energy, lot of energy. They need to grow GDP, gross domestic product. If you don't know what that is, you can ask someone, but it is basically how much money the country is earning every year, so that it depends, also helps the people on how much they can earn. So if your life is good, then GDP has to be good. So as GDP gets better, hopefully everybody's life in the country also gets better. And who doesn't want the lives of their people to get better? A new prime minister comes, new president comes, and he promises to make the economy grow and produce new jobs and create new jobs and opportunities and so on. All can be done now by finding solutions again for agriculture, for health, for energy, for water, for transportation, for buildings, and so on and so forth. It's not all gloom and doom. So here is an example: Atacama Desert in Chile. Concentrated solar power plant. All it means is there is many ways to produce, use solar power. You can convert it into electricity, or you can use it to produce warm water, hot water, or you can use it to do other things like produce hydrogen, and so on. And concentrated solar power plant, basically, if you've seen a solar panel, it may be flat and rectangular. When you have concentrated solar power, it means it has lenses and mirrors which take the energy and focus it onto one point and create much more energy by concentrating. That's why it's called a concentrated solar power plant. In rural areas of Africa, China, India, solar panels are providing power to villages. Earlier, these areas couldn't connect to the electric grid. Now you don't need to be on a grid. You can locally capture the wind or solar and produce energy for yourself. You can have a rooftop solar panel. You can have a little windmill in your backyard. Now people have refrigerators, lights, and more reading light. And it has changed lives, and it continues to change lives. And what else do you need to remember? You need to remember that solar power is not always there. At night, sun goes down. and wind may not always be there. Sometimes wind dies down, so you need to also plan for times when solar energy goes away or wind goes away. What can you do? You do it all the time. You use batteries, right? So you can take the energy when it is being produced. If it is excess energy, you can charge a battery, or you can use the solar and wind energy to charge a battery so that you have energy all the time, right? In Chile, a giant new solar power plant was built in a dry, sunny desert where nothing grows and not many people live, and sun is falling full on because deserts are hot, hot, hot. So you can cover them with solar panels. It can provide electricity for 1 million people. Suddenly a desert which was sitting there and not doing much is now providing solar energy for 1 million people. Solar panels are springing up in parking lots across the United States. They are set up as canopies above cars, protecting them from the heat, rain and snow all the time, producing energy. Now you have so much exciting technology. The roads are built to capture solar energy and charge your car by induction. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. As you are driving around or as you parked your car, the battery can get charged if it's an electric vehicle. Imagine all the possibilities. Kids, I may have a shirt that has a little technology, a little chip in it which will cool my body or warm my body based on the weather, or it can kill the microbes and make my shirt clean without using water and detergent and a machine and so on. Infinite possibilities. Wind power is also growing too. More and more turbines are being built on farms. Now you walk across India, drive across India, take a bus, train across India, you will see big windmills on mountains and in farms and so on, and they can power one farm or many farms based on how large it is. Everywhere people are driving electric cars that don't burn burn fuel, or hybrids that can use a mix of electricity and gas. Any kind of cycling saves energy. So does walking, taking a bus or train, or carpooling with friends instead of driving by yourself. It means fewer vehicles on the road when multiple people share a car and do carpooling. Of course, the energy that is used to run an electric vehicle still has to get cleaner and cleaner and renewable and so on. So future is good, future is bright, future is carbon free, and you can really join this revolution and save your future, save the planet, have fun, make money and be healthy, eat well, right? So you have to also remember the life cycle again. If you are bicycling every day and not driving, obviously you are emitting less, but you have to also see what else you are doing. Producing meat, especially beef, takes a lot of energy and has a lot of environmental impacts on water and land and so on. So eating less meat can be good for your health and for the environment. Red meat is not always good for your health if you eat too much of it. So you can become a vegetarian. There are cultural issues. People like meat, people like fish. So you cannot force people to avoid eating meat, or you cannot force them to stop eating meat, but you can worry about your health and do less meat eating and reduce your own environmental footprint or your own carbon footprint. If you take everything you are doing in terms of energy use, water use, food and traveling by car or train or bus and so on, flying, you can see how much emission you are putting out every year and what people in rich countries are doing and what people in poor countries are doing. But you have to be still careful, because in India you will get a number that per person everybody is emitting about 3 tons of carbon per year. What does it mean? Does this mean everybody is emitting only 3 tons per person per year? No, it means rich people are producing much more, maybe 12, maybe 15 tons, but there are poor people which are emitting less than 1 ton per year. So when we average over India, it's misleading. When we average over China, it's misleading. So we have to worry about everybody, and everybody has to reduce, but rich people have to reduce much more than poor people, and poor people should be allowed to increase their carbon footprint to manage their basic standard of living and quality of life. They need to have a refrigerator, a fan, and transportation that is provided by the city. They need to travel for work, to school. They need to go for vacation once in a while. So some people have to reduce their emissions, some people should be allowed to increase their emissions. These are complicated issues, but as you grow up you can begin to think, what is my carbon footprint? If you know what an app is, and if you know how to use an app, you can go online and find many apps that will allow you to figure out, to calculate what is your carbon footprint. You can ask your parents what carbon footprints they are carrying and whether the family can somehow reduce the carbon footprint. So here is an electric car at a charging station. So you need electric cars to reduce emissions, and you need clean energy to charge the batteries, and you need charging stations everywhere you go, because if you are driving from one place to another and there is no charging station, your dad may get anxious saying, what if the battery dies on the way? But if there are charging stations like gas stations or petrol pumps, and parents will be happy, don't worry, we will get there with our electric vehicle. So you can see how many issues have to be solved when we want to solve the climate problem. Okay, what else can you do? What can save energy at home? Special light bulbs called LED lights use at least 75% less energy. Light emitting diodes, the guy who invented them won a Nobel Prize a few years ago, and these LEDs can last 25 times longer than regular bulbs, and they produce less heat, waste less energy as well. We all know that something as simple as turning off lights when you leave a room can help. So waste not any energy, food, water. Don't run water when you're brushing your teeth. You turn off the tap and don't let it run. Turn off the faucet while you're brushing your teeth, that is. Taking action helps reduce your carbon footprint, lowering how much CO2 you produce. So what will be your impact on the environment? Do you believe that climate change presents a real danger in the immediate future to our planet? Well, if we don't do anything, it can, but be optimistic. Don't get anxious, don't get scared. Do something. If so, what will you do about it? Think of it as a risk we are facing, and you didn't do much because you're still very young. We did all those bad things, but you can have fun in finding solutions for everything and saving the world for yourself and for everybody else. Here is an image of a nuclear city power plant from the early 1900s, bellowing out these black smoke with particulate matter that make you sick and increase greenhouse gases and change rainfall and increase temperatures. Very bad for your health as well. Okay, so we'll look at a bunch of photos as we go along, and that should conclude the chapter. I will try to describe a few more impacts as we go along. There are things that you can do, there are things that you cannot do or are out of your control. The main thing is not to get anxious, but get even. Do something about it and be an innovator and become a doctor, become a reporter, become a environmentalist, and become a lawyer, and so on and so forth, to save the world. Lots of opportunities. Let's come back and talk more and try to conclude this chapter. Okay, see you in the next podcast, and maybe we'll be able to wrap up this book in a couple of more podcasts then. Okay,